Ever wondered how the petrol in your car is made? Well, it all starts with a black, sticky and rather smelly substance called crude oil. Crude oil, my friends, is as ancient as the dinosaurs. It's a fossil fuel born from the remains of plants and animals that lived millions of years ago. Over time, heat and pressure from the Earth's crust transformed these remains into a gooey, black mixture. Now, isn't it a bit ironic? This prehistoric substance, formed from life forms that roamed our planet way before humans did, is now fueling our modern world. It's like having a T-Rex power your smartphone. But where does this crude oil hang out? Deep below the Earth's crust, in underground reservoirs. That's where it just sits there, waiting until we humans come along to give it a purpose. So our crude oil, which has been lounging around under the Earth's crust for millions of years, is about to get a very rude awakening. Hold your noses, folks. Now, getting crude oil from the ground to the refinery is a bit like trying to get a cat into a bath. It doesn't go willingly. Oh, the drama. Once the crude oil is extracted from the earth, it embarks on a journey that's akin to herding a bunch of mischievous kittens. These droplets of prehistoric sunlight, reluctant as they are, must be coaxed out from their underground dwellings and sent off to the big, scary refinery. To accomplish this, a network of pipelines, trains and ships are employed. Picture it as a daycare drop-off scenario, but instead of toddlers, we've got barrels of crude oil, and instead of a minivan, we have massive pipelines and gigantic tankers. It's a logistical feat that would make any toddler wrangler or cat herder proud. Eventually, after a journey that makes the around the world in 80 days seem like a quick jaunt, our crude oil finally reaches the refinery. And just when our crude oil thought the worst was over, it arrives at the refinery. The real fun is just beginning. Now, imagine crude oil as a chocolate cake mix. The refinery is essentially the oven that separates all the yummy ingredients. Let's delve into the fascinating world of oil refining. It's a bit like a grand greasy ballet where every molecule has a part to play. The first step is distillation. This is where our crude oil, just like an overeager actor, splits into different parts. You see, every component of crude oil has a different boiling point, much like how every member of a family has a different tolerance for dad jokes. So, we heat the oil in a massive distillation column. It's like a huge vertical kettle where the crude oil does a bit of a hot shimmy and splits into various components. Lighter elements like gasoline and jet fuel rise to the top, while heavier ones like diesel and lubricating oil stay at the bottom, kind of like how cream floats to the top of milk or how your favorite socks always end up at the bottom of the laundry pile. But what about the really heavy stuff that's left? Well, that's where cracking comes into play. No, we're not talking about cracking a joke or cracking your knuckles. Cracking is a process that breaks down those heavier, stubborn molecules into lighter, more useful ones. It's like convincing a grumpy uncle at a family reunion to lighten up and join in the fun. This is done using heat and catalysts, substances that speed up the chemical reactions. It's like adding a pinch of magic to the mix. The heavy molecules break down into lighter ones and voila, we have more gasoline and other useful stuff. In the end, we have a wide range of products, from gasoline for your car, to jet fuel for airplanes, to the asphalt that paves our roads. So, after a lot of pressure, a bit of heat and some chemical reactions, our crude oil has finally been transformed. It's no longer the sticky, smelly substance we started with. So what's the end result of all this refining? Well, it's the petrol that powers your car, the diesel that drives your bus, and the jet fuel that flies your plane. And let's not stop there. It's also the heating oil that warms your home on a chilly winter's night, and the asphalt that paves your roads. It's the base for those delightful plastic water bottles you're sipping from and the synthetic fibers in your favorite pair of socks. In essence, refined crude oil is like the secret sauce in your favorite dish. It's everywhere, lurking in the background, making things run smoothly. You may not see it, but it's there, playing a vital role in your everyday life. It's even in places you'd least expect. Ever put on lip balm? Guess what? There's a bit of our old friend crude oil in there too. So that's how crude oil cleans up its act to become petrol. It's a messy, smelly and complicated process, but without it, we'd all be stuck in the slow lane.